And Happy New Year to all of you. This is the January 2nd Fig Fed News. You'll notice the redone graphics start. Let's begin. So in wrestling news, currently Darren Young, Mojo Rawley, Velveteen Dream, Cedric Alexander, Max Caster, Anthony Bowens, Brody King, Al Snow, Chris Kanyon, and Shane Douglas are all in talks to possibly be joining up into the federations. Of course, Darren Young currently down in the UWA. He is in talks to go possibly join the SmackDown roster along with Titus O'Neil. Mojo Rawley would go to the ECW or the SmackDown roster. Velveteen would go to the ECW roster. Cedric Alexander would go to the SmackDown roster. Max Caster and Anthony Bowens are talking about going to the AEW brand. Same with Brody King. Al Snow is also looking at Blue Impact or if not Red Impact. Chris Kanyon, same thing, or actually more toward AAA or IWGP. And Shane Douglas is looking to head to ECW. Only time will tell if they officially sign. To the match results of the week, as the Wrestling Classic took place over at Golden Era Wrestling GEW. Sergeant Slaughter would defeat Mr. T. Demolition and Andre the Giant versus Roddy Piper and Bob Orton and Kevin Von Erich ended a double countout, respectively, for their teams. Mr. Wonderful would defeat Honky Tonk Man to win the GEW Television Championship. That is the wrong picture. Iron Sheik defeats Jake the Snake Roberts for the number one contendership. And the main event, Bruno Sammartino defeated superstar Billy Graham to be crowned the first GEW World Champion. Nothing took place this week for superstars. However, WCW had their first pay-per-view, WCW Slamboree, which Barry Windham would defeat the Great Muta to win the WCW World Television Championship. Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard defeats Brian Knobbs and Jerry Saggs to win the WCW Tag Team Championship. Sting would defeat Rick Rude to win the United States title. The Giant would become the number one contender by defeating Lex Luger. The main event would see Nature Boy Ric Flair defeat Macho Man Randy Savage. So as this time, all four horsemen are covered in gold. No show this week. However, Raw did have its first pay-per-view, and it was Armageddon. Big Boss Man would defeat Farouk for the Hardcore title. The New Age Outlaws defeat the Hardys for the tag titles. Undertaker defeats Kane, become the number one contender. Ken Shamrock would defeat Booker T and D'Lo Brown in a triple threat match to become the Intercontinental Champion of Raw. And Stone Cold Steve Austin defeats Triple H and Kurt Angle to become the WWF World Champion. Nothing on SmackDown this week took place, nor ECW. However, Supreme Pro Wrestling debuted with Forbidden Door as Rey Fenix versus Penta L0M versus Kenny Omega versus Malachi Black versus CM Punk, a five-way match with the winner going on to be in the world title match in the main event, as three matches only took place on this card. Kenny Omega would win. Match 2 would see Rey Fenix versus Penta L0M versus Malachi Black versus CM Punk, where Malachi Black would win. However, in the main event, Kenny Omega would defeat Malachi Black to become the first Supreme AEW World Champion. Nothing took place on Collision, but Revolution did take place as Dusty Rhodes would defeat John Silver for the Canadian Heavyweight Championship. The Butcher and Blade defeats Private Party, FTR, and Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs for the tag team titles. Samoa Joe would defeat Wardlow, Darby Allin, and Brody Lee to win the TNT Championship. The main event would see Hangman Adam Page defeat MJF for the AEW World Championship. Nothing on Ring of Honor this week, nor NXT. However, a regular card, this is not a pay-per-view. Karrion Kross would defeat Ridge Holland, the opener. DIY defeats Street Profits. The main event would see Braun Strowman defeat Kevin Owens. Then over to the WWFA, as it was Clash of the Titans, as Greg Valentine defeated Dusty Rhodes for the what would be the WWF Television Championship. Again, wrong graphic. Kama and Samu defeats Virgil and Chief J Strongbow to crown the tag team champions. Vader would become the number one contender by defeating Bam Bam Bigelow. In the main event, so the King Harley Race defeat Jerry the King Lawler, the Battle of the Kings, for the WWFA World Championship. Nothing on WWE ECW this week, nor on New, nor on Excite, nor on UCW, or XWF, or CWF. However, Blue Impact did have a show this week. Steve Corino would defeat Charlie Haas in the opener. Bill DeMott would defeat Scotty Riggs in his debut match. And Sean O'Haire defeats Perry Saturn in the main event. Nothing along the way. Although UWF did have its first show, Dr. David Schultz would defeat Lance Von Erich. In the main event saw Dr. Death, Steve Williams, defeat Dick Murdoch. Nothing in TNA this week, nor NWA, nor IWF, nor Original Ring of Honor. However, New Japan would have its one and only pay-per-view to start the year as Bushi defeats Will Ospreay and Tomohiro Ishii for the Never Openweight Championship. Evil defeats Hiromu Tanahashi to win the IW Junior Heavyweight Championship, And then Takahashi defeats Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. And Tetsuya Naito defeated Kazuki Okada for the IWGP New Japan Pro Wrestling World Championship. Nothing else will take place this week, although there was a UWA, as Simon Gotch would defeat Alex Riley on the Indies, and the Great Khali would end up defeating Mason Ryan in the main event of that show. Nothing was taking place in the World Wrestling Council, nor GCW, although GCW did lose two of its roster members. Jay White and Chris Bay have left. They are currently unsigned. It'll be interesting to see where they end up on the free agency pool. But here are the title match results. New champions, Kenny Omega winning the Supreme AEW World Championship. Barry Windham winning the WCW World Television Championship. Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard also winning the WCW World Tag Team Championship. Sting winning the WCW United States Championship. The Nature Boy Ric Flair winning the WCW World Heavyweight Championship. Butcher and Blade winning the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Samoa Joe winning the TNT Championship. Dustin Rhodes winning the Canadian Heavyweight Championship. Hangman Adam Page winning the AEW World Championship. Hiromu Takahashi winning the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. Evil winning the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Bushi winning the Never Openweight Championship. And Tetsuya Naito winning the NJPW World Championship. That's all for this week, and I will see you next week for results from other shows. Happy New Year.